Well, hello everyone. I'm so excited to speak with you all about Getaway because this, as this movie says, is a great holiday. I had such a good trip with this. Now, Sebastian, I want to jump into it with you. You're a bit of a, I don't want to say a pro at this, but you've been in a kind of a bit of comedy horror films quite often. I find you always really fun to see in this genre. What do you think as an actor it takes to balance horror and comedy correctly? I know good direction helps, but what do you use as an actor to kind of balance the tone?
Well, I think there was so much overlap in this film, playing kind of a moody teenager who's, without giving any spoilers, but there's a fun overlap there, I think, between the conflicts that he has like with his dad, with Nick, and it's such a kind of familiar like, son and father like bickering relationship, or like with Maisie and with his sister, and kind of seeing that then spin out into the like horror genre and what that becomes was so much fun. But yeah, I think there's a lot of overlap, and some of my favorite moments of comedy are also in moments of darkness and vice versa. So I think treading the line is a difficult thing to do, but it's fun. And having a script from a comedy horror god like Nick Frost does help.
Yeah, no, I mean Nick's script's awesome. Steffen's direction is awesome. Maisie, I have to talk to you about something. So I was doing some research on you, and I like to see that you're kind of breaking into the industry, and this was such a big gig for you. And you were with some great people with some nice, I will use the UK term, CVs. And I really love me doing my research of what's a resume in the UK. No, I loved seeing you work with it. Is there a piece of advice from maybe Nick, Sebastian, or anyone involved on set that you're going to take with you and bring to other sets with you?
Yeah, I think like all of them are just like such pros and so funny. And I think I definitely when I arrived was like intimidated by that. I was like, oh God, like I don't know what I'm gonna do. But I think they all just kind of seeing how easily they improd and just like went for things and like because they create such a lovely space where they made me feel so comfortable and kind of very free to just try things out and like that kind of freedom to create. I think, yeah, just the idea of just going for it and not feeling like scared because at the end of the day, you're all here to make something you care about. And I was very lucky though, because they're all just lovely. And yeah, I think I hit like the kind of jackpot to have that as a cast and Steffen's director. And like the first thing I did, I was like, well, the bar is the bar is
Oh,
high.
absolutely. I love what this cast, it does feel like a family. No matter the bickering, like Sebastian said, all of it, it felt real. And I think Steffen's direction's a great pick there. Stefan, I think your script wastes or your movie wastes no time. It's in, it's out, it packs in a good punch. What was it about this script and working of the script that really drew you to making this project?
It was, I mean, of course, it was already like, I mean, hearing like, all right, there's the script, it's written by Nick Frost. Oh, and he plays the lead character, and he wants you to read it. I mean, that's that. I mean, I'm in then already. But when I when I read it, it was just such a ride, and with all the twists and turns in the story, that I'm not going to spoil. I mean, this was an experience. The first read, it just got to me, and I was like, all right, this should be the experience that everyone should have in the cinema. So, yeah, it was very clear that I had to do this film.
Sebastian and Maisie, did you guys kind of predict when you guys were reading the script where it was going, or were you guys smacked in the face like audiences were with how things went?
I had
No
absolutely no
idea.
idea. Uh, And like I was equally annoyed and also like, well, I have to be a part of this because I had no idea it was coming. And also, once I knew everything, it wasn't like it just comes out of nowhere. You're like, it was there the whole time. And I think as actors seeding that in smaller details and like weaving it all together so that like if someone were to watch it straight away after watching it the first time they would maybe see new things, which is kind of cool.
No, I look forward to watching it again so I can check my notes this time and be like, that weird look that one person gave somebody, that means so much now. And
Yeah.
it's really interesting. Again, it's that direction, it's that script. So I have another question kind of for both of you. Doing my research, I was finding out you both are very talented singers. This movie uses songs very well. Is there something you guys would love to see your characters perform thing? Maybe I'm just like wicked brained right now, but I was just like, what if this was a musical number two here? The tone was
I
perfect for this.
love this question. I think in a very like Joker 2 kind of way. Or like it would be so cool if I'm not going to say any of them, but any of the twists that happened, like they're quite big twists, like they kind of altered the whole world. If any of those were songs, that would be insane. Like imagine like, or even the Karantam, which like you see in the trailer. Imagine if that was a whole like musical number. Like I'm almost annoyed that didn't happen.
Yeah, I love that. I don't know if I can, do you know what? I don't know if I can see Jessie singing, but I can definitely see her like weirdly DJing at like a techno club in Berlin. Like she's like completely like straight face, sunglasses on, she just plays her track and she's just kind of like maybe that maybe that's like an extra scene.
I mean, Stefan, tying into this, music is such a great part of this film. I mean, that needle drop in the middle of this movie was just like so impressive and so interesting. Where does music kind of play into you? Do you like, was that in the script or did you get to kind of pick the songs and the vibe of this movie?
Yeah, music is a big thing, of course, and it was something that I mean, you just go and I mean, you have to find out which songs are possible to get, and and this one needle drop, which I love, the one you're describing, and I'm not spoiling it. I guess I'm not spoiling it.
Yeah.
I mean, that was just such a perfect song, and I wasn't aware that we could actually afford this or get this song. So when that happened, I was just so it was like, oh fuck, this is just perfect. I mean, so yeah, no, I mean, this is very important for the mood and for everything, and it was something that, yeah, I mean, right from the start, from the moment I read the script, I was working on that, yeah, and
I,
eventually we got to have these incredible tracks.
I love when writers and directors will have a song in a movie. They don't have the rights to it, but they're like, we're going to make this happen. I don't care if we have to do our own acoustic version of it. We'll make it happen. And I just love that drive. That's kind of what the whole movie feels like. It's just so motivated and it's just so pushed through. Did you guys feel that on set with the direction? I mean, not to pat Stefan on the back over here, but was that direction just kind of felt that motivated and that like, oh man, I can't wait to get this?
Yeah, I mean, Stefan's got such a great like you bring such a great energy to like set, and I think having like you kind of steering us and having this kind of like let's do this kind of very positive, very electric approach to the scenes, and we move quite fast anyway, so it just felt yeah, it felt like we were working at a pace. It wasn't too fast, but it felt the speed was kind of everything was in motion and was quite exciting to be on a set like that when things were just happening all around you all the time everywhere. Yeah.
I think it's such a specific world. And like while you trust someone like Nick Frost and the crazy things they have in their head, I think the jump between what's on script and how that translates to the film we have now is such a big one. And I think quite early on, just the feeling that Stefan really knew what he was doing and what he wanted and what he didn't. And you kind of go, oh, okay, like we can all relax and know that if he's saying you can go bigger with it, it's not going to look insane. And kind of, I think that just like basic level of trust, which you need to make anything, but specifically when you've got a genre that's, or like a tone that's so specific as this film, it's a very delicate thing. So I think between Nick and Stefan, we were like unbelievably lucky to have such a clear vision to work with.
Yeah, you guys walked that line, that very thin line that it seemed of the tone of this movie very well. So I want to say thank you all for watching this. I liked it watching it now, like talking with you all. I'm like, yeah, I love the family of this movie. I think you guys all made it so great. I like this is such a good vibe. So Stefan, thank you, Sebastian, Maisie, thank you guys all so much for speaking with me today. Hello, guys. How are you today?
Good. How are you?
Very good. I'm so excited to speak with you guys about Getaway. I had such a blast watching this family be the messiest family I've seen in a while, and I absolutely loved following them. Nick, I want to say, this is such a perfect tone for you. It really balances that line, that real thin line, horror comedy. You've done this for quite some time. Do you find it hard to kind of keep finding new ways to bend this genre? Because this is truly one of your most unique scripts yet.
Um, no, I guess I just want to be as honest as I can and funny and create characters that, even though, knowing what we know now, they're subhuman, just making human beings, I think that's often nice. Human beings that other human beings can relate to. I think they're nice characters to play, and they're fun for people to watch, especially if you can then subvert that by stabbing an old man in the throat.
Mm.
That often how I would like to subvert my days. Yes, sure, I understand. No, Aisling, I have to talk to you. I first saw you on RuPaul's Drag Race. I know that's a very odd place to first find you. And then I fell in love with you and deep dived and said, oh my goodness. So I love you in the horror genre. Can you tell me what brought you to the genre? Do you have any early memories of watching horror movies, or is this kind of
Not at
new
all.
for
I was
you?
saying to Nick earlier on, like I used to absolutely poop my pants watching the X-Files as a kid and have to sleep with my mother, and I was like 50. Like, it was too old to be sleeping with your mother type of thing. And I really do get like, I don't watch them at all. I'm so scared. Whereas what was lovely about this was, well, first of all, being able to do comedy and play someone odder. I'd done a kind of string of, which I was getting offered, of kind of like women in their 30s going through something. And I was a bit bored of kind of making jokes and crying on set. It was just a bit like, oh, let me wheel out the tears. And then when this came through, oh my God, to do an ensemble and a genre movie. And I've been such a massive fan of Nick's for God knows how long. And sort of to get to play in, like you said, a pen that Nick has been so prolific in, was like, I sort of feel so lucky that I get to be in one of the Nick Frost films. And I was also saying earlier on, like, it's rare that an actor has his own kind of genre, that you know what you're getting, or you know the feeling that you're going to get with a movie, which I think is, rather than repeating yourself, I think it's actually quite a special thing that you can create new fun worlds for audiences to sort of know what they're turning up for. If he was a restaurant, it'd be a very successful restaurant.
I might be a
No,
restaurant.
oh, I will look forward to the Nick Frost website restaurant one day. No, I will say, Nick, I love that, you've kind of raised, like Aisling was saying, you've raised like a generation of like, I'm a stoner movie fan. You've like raised me basically for years. So I love that you get to play with this. And like I said, the script's so good and it's so different. What drew you to doing such a family focused script? I know you said you wanted to tell honest people, but this seems so earnest and as crazy as it can be.
Yeah, yes. I mean, but this came from spending a lot of time on a tiny island in Sweden. Lots of summers, lots of Christmases and Easters, and you know, trying to get to know a tiny community, or getting them to take you in or to trust you, or it was really impossible. Even after 20 years, sometimes if I got off the ferry and I saw one of the old fishermen that I made some connection with over the last 20 years. I remember one guy kind of winked, and then his wife saw him wink and hit him. Really fucking weird. It's like they don't care if you're here or not. They don't want you, And I just love the fact that I could get these people, and we could get them by having a lovely British Irish family come on one day, and you know what? You may pretend to be bad, but these people are fucking really bad, and now you've got a big problem
Yeah,
because
yeah,
there's
yeah.
no ferries. And I
That is
just
so
love
funny.
that. I love that. I don't know if we would talk about the twist, but the twist was the kind of first thing I wrote, and then it was like, it's really easy to hide because these islanders are, you know, a long time ago they were bad people, but now they're just kind of echoes of bad people. But what they're dealing with is currently bad people, and now they got a big problem.
Yeah, no, they got us.
Yeah, as a Floridian who hates tourists coming to my state, I'm like always like, please, why are you here? Why do you want to come here? Other than why are you here? Trust me, leave. I don't want to be here either. But no, I just love that you capture that feeling from both sides of the newness and the ooh, I'm scared of this. Now, Aisling, I loved you and Nick's work together in this. Other than calling each other mommy and daddy, I was so weirded out by your wonderful couple. But can you tell me about building that relationship? I mean, Nick seems like such a easy person to get along with, but can you tell me about that kind of building on set?
I think it was, I felt like Nick really trusted us, and we also had a nice little, he let us play, and the script was already there. So, what's lovely about, especially if you're someone who writes as well, is it feels like you have a breath of fresh air when you feel like the script is tight and ready, because it means you're not being asked to do an extra job other than turn up as sort of like an actor who can do comedy. And whereas sometimes when you feel like there might be something not great, you're like, oh, let's try and fix this on set. Whereas we had nothing to fix.
Mm.
And so we were just sort of playing around. So my boyfriend's coming in with a cheese sandwich just here like this.
Oh,
He's secretly coming in.
oh, he's so
I
good.
I
Cheese sandwich. Get away, Jack. Get away. Sorry, that was like a comedy moment in itself. But
I know me and Nick are like,
Hold it
what is
up.
on that sandwich now?
Hold it up. Oh, I knew it was toasted because he gave it to you with a tea towel.
yeah, exactly. A lovely
Oh
toasted
my
cheese sandwich.
goodness.
Sorry, I was working all day and yeah, apologies.
No, it's fine. I'm moving to my last question with Nick now anyway. So I don't really want
And
to
my
give
point was,
away.
it was an absolute joy to work with Nick, and he created that environment where we could play to make a couple. Like he allowed that, which is a pure joy.
Oh,
Can I just touch
absolutely.
on something Ashley
Yeah.
said too? Sometimes when people give you a job and they know you come from a place of being a writer and a comedy actor, sometimes they expect you to fix it for them because they
Yeah,
just know
yeah,
that
and
they know
exactly.
that
Yeah,
we're quite responsible people in terms of if I can now fix this as we go, so it's going to be so
yeah.
I don't have to appear in something that is going to be kind of shit, then
And you
we
do, and you end up doing it, or just sort of playing another version of yourself again,
yeah,
because they
you end
actually
up
said
doing
they
it.
wanted you to turn up and just turn it into like Nick Frost or Ashling or whatever. And that's really, you can get a bit resentful because you're like, do the work, we do the work in our stuff. So to turn up to this script where there was, it was already there was a joy. And I think Nick wouldn't ask other comedy people to come and do that. Like that's what was so great about this.
I think if you get a script into a really pretty great place, and
Mhm.
then people don't have to feel the pressure to come and fix it. It's like you don't have to fix it, but oh, that what did you just say? That was fucking great. Let's fucking try that. It's and then I think the biggest kind of thrill for me is and Stefan too is to build a set which is so inclusive that no one feels like an idiot saying, "Is this better? Is this funnier?"
Yeah.
Because if it is, then it will absolutely make it.
Hmm.
Oh,
And
I
also,
love that.
I remember feeling like when I watched the first kind of draft of it when we were doing the ADR, I was like, oh, it's one thing allowing improv or little improv bits on set. It's another thing knowing how to edit them and to get the timing and the sort of mess that was felt on the day on set. And I think they really just did a brilliant job with that, knowing how to pull that out as well.
I love hearing that this was from script to post production. It was a smooth ride. You can feel that the movie's just so easy. It's brisk. It gets in and out. It's like such a good, fun little horror comedy. I want to say thank you guys so much for speaking with me today. I had such a blast just
I had
talking
a
with you.
blast and
Also, I could
watching
see
your
you
shirt,
two.
which was
Oh,
gorgeous.
thank you. I could just watch you two go off as well. There's a good bond here. I want to see you guys work together more, please.
I will never work with this man again. Goodbye. I'm joking. In a heartbeat.
Thank you
Never saw
guys.
her. She killed herself.